afternoon to you and happy Friday to you. In fact, happy Good Friday to you. How are we doing today? Greetings from sunny Dubai. Do let me know where in the world you are. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. I've got no idea how many people are going to join today. I understand that you're having some lovely weather in the UK. Hope that you are fine and dandy wherever you are. I know that quite a lot of countries have got today off. Some of you will be working and some of you won't be. So I thought I'd go live anyway and say hello. Hello, hello. Thank you for joining. Beginning of April. Has the spring come to wherever you are? Do let me know. I understand, that you've been having some amazing weather in the UK, so I hope that it is fine wherever you are. Greetings from Dubai. It is absolutely lovely here, and I hope that you are well and happy on this Good Friday. So, clocks went forward in the UK last week. How was that for you? Some people find that a little bit of a challenge. I always look forward to that. It's like the beginning of spring, isn't it? Even though it's not so great to have an hour less, and then in October you have an extra hour and it's amazing, but then it all gets dark and horrible. So, tell me how it was for you. Let me know how your family, how's your business, how's your team. Give me a wave. Hi Matt, hi Paul, hello Lucy, thank you for joining. And did I see Ben there as well? Give me a wave so that I know that you are there. Let me know where you are and how you are. Thank you for joining on this Good Friday afternoon. How are things wherever you are? Lots of people getting the vaccine, lots of people not getting it, lockdowns easing in some places, tightening in other places, depending on where you are watching in the world. So how are you managing with all of this, and how are things where you are, with your team, with your business, with your family? End of the first quarter of 2021. Goodness, that went fast, didn't it? How are you feeling about that? It's been an interesting year so far, hasn't it? Just what have you been working on this week? Let me know. Has it been a good one? I've had a really interesting week actually. As you know, I love running outside, and I decided that after I'd been training diligently last week, every day, I thought, right, I am going to go out for a run on Sunday. So I felt fine. I felt a bit tired. I felt a bit sluggish, but it was nice and early, so not too hot yet. And oh my goodness, I developed such an epic headache in the afternoon. It was just excruciating, and I actually ended up having to go to bed. I don't usually suffer from headaches, and I just pumped in loads and loads and loads of water, but nothing was making any difference. We had to go out and sort out our local driving licenses Sunday evening when I woke up actually, and then I just crashed straight back to bed. I think I slept something like 9 hours, woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning as per usual, felt kind of okay, but then started feeling really weird. So I cancelled training with Soren, my PT, and I just went back to bed. So one of the advantages of being ahead of you time-wise, I'm now 3 hours ahead of you because our clocks didn't move. I was able to have a bit of a lazy morning without it impacting my working day, and by lunchtime I was already feeling much better. So I've been training every morning this week and I'm feeling fine, but I'm not sure that I'll be going running again outside for a while. It took a lot out of me, and unfortunately I'm not 20 anymore, which is a real shame, but something that afflicts I guess most of you that are watching. So that's how I'm doing kind of health-wise. Let me know how you are. Business is good. I've been running several workshops this week with different teams, helping them put their plans together and helping them get really clear about what they're trying to achieve. So it's been another busy week. Thank you to all of you that have been referring friends or colleagues to me. The waiting list system is working really, really well actually. So people know then when I'll be able to start working with them, if they want one-on-one coaching or if they want a workshop for their team. So that's flowing through really nicely. So thank you so much for all of you that are recommending me and my services. I do really appreciate it. So Madbabur, I hope I have pronounced your name correctly, Madbabur, said I did 150 miles of walking in March. Wow, That is impressive. It feels really good to be outdoors and get some fresh air. Do you know what? It is so important. I realise, I think I said last week, I'm realising more and more just how important our mental and physical health is. It's something that I work with my clients on, and you might think, well, what's that got to do with running a business? But if you're not okay, how can you possibly look after a team, look after your customers, look after all of your other stakeholders? So super, super important and great to get out in the fresh air. I agree with you. Just helps clear your head and give you a different perspective as well. So lots of new joiners to this community. Welcome to each and every one of you. Really great to have you all with us. I'm really passionate about serving you and giving you lots of great value in these weekly lives every Friday at 12 noon UK time. And however busy I get, I will continue to give lots of time and energy to this community because I want you to know that you're not alone. Being an entrepreneur, being a business owner can be a long and sometimes lonely road, and I want you to know that you're not alone. So please feel free to post your questions or your challenges with your business in this group. I've actually changed the settings in the group, so now my team review any posts before they get posted in the group, and that's just to stop a few people who were, simply just sharing a link to their page or blatantly trying to sell. Yeah, that's not what this community is about. This community is about solving challenges and learning from each other, and I just don't want it getting cluttered up with just promotion and all of that kind of stuff. So we're not having any more of that. This is all about learning and talking about our businesses, not trying to sell our businesses, but talking about the challenges that we're facing and supporting each other. I've mentioned that I'm going to start doing weekly Ask Me Anything sessions in this group, so that is going to start this next week, so do keep your questions coming, and I'll be setting up those weekly slots to get them answered for you. Matt is asking, what are we talking about today? Well, I'm just about to come to that, Matt. We are talking about how to do things your way, so just hold on to that thought. We're coming to that in just a second. That's a little bit about what I have been up to. How about you? It does seem like a busy time for everybody that I talk to, certainly. I hope that you and your business are thriving, but if not, then that's totally okay. Please let me know what support you need. You are absolutely not alone. I know that several of you have tried to book in clarity calls this week, and I know my calendar's been a bit of a challenge, so please do try again. I do open up slots every week, and I have opened up some slots for next week and over the next couple of weeks, and I'm looking forward to speaking with you. If you'd like to get past your blockers, take that next step in your business, book in a call with me and let's give you a dose of clarity. No pressure, no obligation. It's all about you and serving you and helping you take that next step in your business. I've got a few slots each week that I do make available for these calls. They're absolutely free, so do grab yours now. You'll find the link in the pinned post at the top of this group. So last week we were looking at patterns and boundaries, something that's really, really important and key to the work that I do. We were talking about how to recognize those patterns that show up in our lives, maybe in our relationships, in conversations that we have, in our business, patterns that we run, some positive, some not so positive. And we were also looking at how to put those boundaries in place that keep us safe and help us then move on to that next level in our lives and in our businesses. If you didn't get a chance to join me live last week, you can find the recording in this group. All of my lives are organised into guides in this Facebook group. There are 4 guides. There's a welcome guide with some information about me and the group, and then there are 3 guide units filled with resources and the lives dating all the way back to when we started this community, all the way back in June 2019. So there's Simplify Your Business with loads of hints and tips on how to make life easier for yourself, how to organise your time and how to focus on what's important. Then there's Grow Your Business, which is all about client acquisition, scaling and managing people. And finally, there's the Enjoy Your Business guide, which focuses on you and your role and how to ensure that the business that you're building continues to delight and inspire you. What we really don't want is you falling out of love with your business. So everything that I do in this community and everything that I do in my work as a business coach falls into one or more of these three guides: simplify, grow, or enjoy your business, so that you can easily find the support that you need. Of course, I want all three of those for you, but you will know individually which one is needed most for you right now. So do check out the guides in this group. So as you know, I tend to take my cues from you in terms of what would be helpful for me to cover during these weekly lives. So sometimes I might read about something or reflect on a past experience and take the learnings from that to share with you. And often I share things from my book, The Real Entrepreneur, and what I'm working with my clients on. But most often these lives come from questions, conversations and requests that I get from this community. So do let me know, where are you stuck? What questions do you have? What challenges are you facing? This week's live is actually inspired by a question from my friend and my client Paula. Hey Paula, she is the founder of Me Infinity, which is an amazing project. It's a groundbreaking initiative that's tackling climate change one action by one person at a time. And Paula commented on a post in this group a couple of weeks back. And what she said was, I really love your lives, thank you Paula, and I'm really interested in your superpower of flow. Today I realised that I struggled with my to-do list, as it's things that I need to do, not want to do. I still haven't got a team, so how can I integrate flow into my everyday working practice? Great question, and that really kind of got me thinking, and that's led me through to today's live. So it's all very well it's all very well me talking about building a team of people who focus on all the bits that you don't enjoy. But what if that's not possible just yet? What if you haven't got a team yet, or you can't afford to hire another person into your team right at the moment? How do you avoid burning yourself out or falling out of love with what you're doing before you can build it into a business that's going to work for you? So that's our question for today. And so when we talk about flow, what we mean is your natural energies, right? We all have different amounts of each of these energies, and they determine how we see the world, how we interact with other people, how we make decisions, and what kind of businesses we're building. So there are 4 different energies, and we all have different amounts of these energies, as I've said. So there's the activating energy that is full of ideas and drive and ego and innovation, head in the cloud and always looking to the future and waving their hands around. This energy likes change, very comfortable with change, and it likes taking risks, and it's always looking to mix things up. And of course you need this energy to start a business, right? So most of you watching, all of you watching, will have quite a lot of this activating energy, right? And then there's the counterbalance, sustaining energy, which is much more grounded in the here and now. It's got a focus on balance and avoiding conflict, and it's a much more reflective energy, and we need it in order to bring consistency to our business. Then there's the inspiring energy, which is all about people, collaborating, engaging and connecting with others. That's what this energy is all about, and we need this to bring team members on board, to manage our customers and to engage with investors. And last, but by no means least, there's the refining energy, with its focus on how to get things done, structure and facts and numbers. And we need this energy to build systems and processes so that we can scale and so that we can make money. And for many of you who don't have a lot of that energy, that's probably one of the reasons why you're in this community and why you're listening to me today, because I've got plenty of this energy, and that's why I can help you. So understand understanding how much of each of these energies you have is really key to finding out your individual flow, but also the flow of your team and the people that you work with. If you haven't already taken the Contribution Compass test and you'd like to find out more, please do get in touch and I'll send you a link. It really will change the way that you see yourself and your business. But finding your flow is really a constant process of trying different things and finding out what's going to work for you. It comes from looking at what you're spending your time on and what you're focusing on. And it comes from really understanding where you get your energy from and what drains it. So today's live is designed to give you some things to think about, but also some actions that you can take today. So how do you do things your way, and how do you get into your flow even when you're doing activities that you don't enjoy or are not particularly good at? So I am not going to lie. I'll never lie to you. I'm not going to lie, and I'm not going to tell you that this is easy, because it really isn't, right? If you're not naturally a numbers person and the thought of crunching through a spreadsheet is your idea of torture, then nothing that anybody tells you is going to change that, right? And I wouldn't dream of trying to change that. And if the idea of picking up the phone to a complete stranger fills you with dread, then that is your reality and that is how you are wired. And that brings me to a really fundamental truth. You actually only really have one option, and that is to do things your way. But what does that actually mean, and why do we struggle with this so much? It's human nature to be curious about other people, right? And it's quite natural that we compare ourselves with them. It's one of the ways we learn. If you think about babies, we mimic what we see as babies, and then as children we look at the older children and we look at our parents for indicators on how we should behave or how to do something that we don't know how to do. So this morning I was watching a mother with her 2 children in the swimming pool, and she was teaching the youngest one how to swim, and the oldest one was like, look at me, and the little one was trying to copy. So this is what we do, right? This is quite a natural process, and this is how we learn. But somehow something gets a bit lost in translation, and that's what I see in my work. So particularly as we grow up into adults and we start adhering to social norms and trying to do things properly and all of that good stuff, instead of looking at something and saying, how would I do that in my way, we're more likely to try and copy something exactly or someone exactly, and then what we do is beat ourselves up for not being able to do it as well as they do. But the person that you are looking at and comparing yourself to is different than you. They are wired differently than you, they have different experiences than you, they have different perspectives than you. And this is what I see with so many entrepreneurs and business owners that I work with. They're constantly comparing themselves to other people without asking that very fundamental question, how do I do that in my way? How do I do that in a way that is going to suit me? I discovered this quite by accident when I was just starting out in my career. I joined Xerox 25 years ago as a sales trainee. In fact, it was a couple of weeks ago. It was exactly 25 years ago. I remember that first day, 18th of March 1996, like it was yesterday. I was being taken around the office and I got introduced to Jeff Worthington. He was a very, very experienced salesperson, and I remember how welcoming he was, a big smile and really, really welcoming. He was brilliant, and he had certificates up on the cabinet next to his desk, various different prizes that he'd won, and I remember looking at all these certificates and I'm being really, really impressed. And then I saw one that was dated the year that I was born, and that just completely blew my mind. Anyway, I was hired as a sales trainee, and after my training they decided to start me off in a small new telesales unit that was calling around all the schools and colleges across the south of England to let them know that Xerox had just secured a huge contract with their local councils, which meant really good deals on photocopiers, which is obviously what we were selling. There were 4 of us, Jim, Aidan, Nick and me. there was only one problem. It was a big problem. I was terrified of cold calling. I just couldn't get my head around it, and it came as a complete shock to me. I hated kind of disturbing people, and that came across loud and clear to the people on the other end of the phone. So I was just terrible, let's just put it that way. I was just absolutely awful at the job that they had just hired me to do. I did everything I could to avoid having to pick up the phone. I made myself very useful to my manager and to all my teammates, but I couldn't really hide behind it, and it soon became clear that I really wasn't making as many calls as the others were. They tried everything, but it was no use. I just absolutely hated it. I absolutely hated it. And then one day, I kind of decided to have a bit of a word with myself. I knew that my dream job was just kind of slipping away. I knew that they were going to have to get rid of me, right? I wasn't doing the job that they'd hired me to do, right? And they were being very supportive and they were suggesting lots of different things, but I was just, it was not a good time. I was absolutely devastated. And I just couldn't find a way around it, and nobody seemed to be able to help me. And anyway, so this one day I kind of sat myself down and had a bit of a word and was like, right, what are you going to do about this, Lisa? Because you're going to lose your job, right? Your first job out of university for this great, amazing company, and you're blowing it. But instead of giving myself a hard time, which I had been giving myself a hard time for quite some time, I decided instead, this question just came to me. And when I look back now, I consider myself really lucky that this question just kind of appeared. And this question was, how could I do this in a way that would work for me? And that changed everything for me. That question changed everything for me. I decided that I would write a letter to my potential customers, to all of these schools and colleges, introducing myself, explaining the deals that were on offer, and telling them that I would call them to discuss their options. Simple, right? And you know what? It worked, an absolute treat. I still didn't really like the cold calling bit, but it was so much easier to call and say, hi, I'm calling about a letter that I've written you. Have you received it? The conversation would flow. I felt much more natural. And of course, the sales started to flow in. And if you take one thing away from today, please understand that your wiring or your preferences, whatever you want to call it, are not the same as your capabilities. You are extremely capable of doing anything that you set your mind to, yeah? I was extremely capable of selling. I'd just been through, the best in class training, sales training. Xerox sales training was like the best in the industry back in the day. So this wasn't about my capabilities. This wasn't about how good I was at selling. In fact, when they let me out into the field, I smashed through all my targets and I was great at selling. It was just that I couldn't get past this thing about the phone. And do you know what? I really wish that somebody had sat me down and explained to me about energies, about being an introvert, being an extrovert. I thought I was an extrovert. I was very chatty, I was very confident, and I thought that I was an extrovert. It never really occurred to me to think about, how I was wired or how I could do things in a different way, and nobody knew how to help me. And luckily, as I say, I have no idea, the question just appeared, and luckily I managed to figure it out, and that moment has really stayed with me for my whole working life and really informs a lot of the work that I do now with my clients. And as I say, if you take just one thing away from today, please understand that your preferences are not the same as your capabilities. You can do anything. You can do anything that you set your mind to. Ultimately, to grow a business, you're going to want to build a small, maybe big team around you so that you spend all of your time doing those things that put you in your flow, that you're good at and that you love. But until then, what you need to do is focus on doing things in a way that's not going to drain you. So think about, how can you do this? How can you do these things in a way that is not going to drain you? How can you make it work for you? So if you are the sort of person that finds it really difficult to do all the numbers, to do all the spreadsheets, to do all the crunching, then how could you do that in a different way? Who could you find to do that with you? Who could you spend time with that will do something with them, and then they could do something with you? Yeah, if you feed off of people, then don't do things on your own. If you've got lots of activating energy, then you need to make things exciting. You need to challenge yourself. You need to set yourself some targets. Yeah, you need to make it interesting. If you are more of a grounded person, you need a bit of a plan, a bit of a structure. Who can help you put that process together to make it easier for you? And if you are more introverted, if you are more of a kind of a structured person, then plan your day accordingly. I love doing the workshops that I do, with big groups of people, but I always block out time in my calendar afterwards because I know it's going to drain my energy. So you've got to do things in your way. You've got to find ways that are going to work for you. So do let me know your questions and comments. How can you do things your way? And if you want to talk it through, let me know. Book in a clarity call. Let's get you moving. Let's get you in touch with what's going to put you in your flow. So before I close up for today, I do want to give you some next steps, some really concrete things that I suggest you do as a result of today's live. So firstly, have a look at your to-do list and those things that maybe you're putting off. So get really clear about what they are, because those things that we put off, they're the things that are probably outside of our flow. So just get really clear. Look at those things, just get clear about what you're putting off. Next, think about how you might do them in a way that would make them more palatable, less draining. Yeah, so use some of those things that I've told you. If you're a really collaborative person, who can I collaborate with on this? Yeah, or do I need a bit of a structure? Do I need a bit of a process? Give me a call. That's what I can help you with. Yeah, if you need to make it a little bit more interesting, if you get bored easily, yeah. Think about, don't just try and power through. It will drain your energy, and that is not what we want, because ultimately that leads to burnout. And thirdly, you know what's coming. Take action, implement, get it done, but get it done in your way. So please do let me know how you get on with this, and let me know if you need any support. If you get stuck on any of this, let me know. I'm going to close up today's live with 2 quotes about doing things your way. So the first one is actually from Emma Stone. She is an American actress. What sets you apart can sometimes feel like a burden, but it's not. A lot of the time, it's what makes you great. And secondly, from Henry Miller, the American writer and artist. One's destination is never a place, but rather a new way of looking at things. So what's your destination and what's your way of getting there? Decide what's really important to you and stick to it. Building a business is tough. It can be a long, hard road. So really make sure that you're building something that's really meaningful to you, that will sustain you through those tough times. Be intentional, say no to things that don't serve you and the goal that you want to achieve. And as I pass back over to you, that is what I want you to take from today. What is the outcome that you're seeking? What is the result? What is the goal? What is the destination? Put all your energy into getting really clear about that, but allow yourself to do things in your way. Yes, by all means, learn from me, learn from other people, but you need to synthesize that learning, bring it inside of you, and then what comes out must be congruent with you and your energies. It must work for you. If you want to build a huge empire, then go for it, amazing. But if you just want to do your thing, then that's okay too. Focus on listening to yourself and ask yourself, what do you need so that you can spend more time in your flow? And if you want some help finding out what puts you in your flow, please get in touch. Don't forget also that the opposite of flow is friction. So if things aren't really working, instead of keep pushing, banging your head against that brick wall, just take a step back and focus on getting some clarity. Get some objective input, hire the services of a business coach, take some time to look at what you're doing. Book in a clarity call with me. Look at and try and find where an easier path would start from and lead to. Ask yourself, what would a business that really works for me look like? And how can I do things my way? Let me know your thoughts and your questions on this or any other topic relating to how to simplify, grow and enjoy your business. Let me know what area of business you would like me to speak about next. I am so enjoying this very special year full of opportunity, challenges, yes, but certainly lots of opportunities out there for you, for every single one of you and your businesses. If you haven't already claimed your free copy of my book, The Real Entrepreneur, then do go to therealentrepreneur.book.com. If you prefer an Audible or a Kindle version, you can find those on Amazon. Do check out the energy section of my book for much more on flow. Get the foundations right and you can build from there. I do hope that you have a lovely weekend. Henrik is saying you've got Easter stuff with the family starting. Yeah, going to catch up with this later. Thanks for hosting these. Have a wonderful Easter, all of you. I hope you have a lovely weekend. If you're in the UK, a lovely long weekend. Different places around the world, I know you're celebrating in different ways, but whatever you're doing and whoever you're doing it with, I wish you a really happy and peaceful time. And as always, if you want to talk, then you know where I am. Please remember to be where you are in the journey. You don't need to know it all, and you definitely don't have to do it all. Take care, stay safe, and do keep in touch. Bye for now.